AI. So not AI generally, but specifically AI for companies. So that's what we call business AI. Let's go into a little bit of history, no, so that you understand where SAP is coming from. And that's important because during the course, I will not be able to avoid going back to some earlier technologies and always compare where we are today to where we were maybe a few years ago, because SAP has, as we heard before, more than 400,000 customers around the world. And that's a huge number. And these customers, they don't all use the latest of everything because it's not possible. They need time to adopt new solutions. So you have lots of customers who use older solutions. Lots of customers are on the way to some newer solutions. A lot of customers are already using the new solutions. And of course, the most typical is that customers use a combination of solutions from SAP, and some are older, some are newer. So that's why it's important to understand the history, where we are coming from, because it's not only history, it's also the present of these customers who are still on the way. So if I go back to the very beginning, so 53 years ago, when SAP started, then, and okay, I'm simplifying the history. I'm not going to each little detail, but just roughly one of the first versions, not the very first one of the first version was this R3. Sometimes you will even hear this term, not in this course, but in the field, in real life. And that was, innovative solution. First time a client server setup, meaning that, okay, there is a server somewhere which operates the system. And then as a user, you have clients to access it. Doesn't sound surprising, but imagine it was 53 years ago. And well, basically, it had a central component, which is called ECC. And this term is still around because there are still customers using ECC. And so, if you talk to an SAP customer, they will all understand the word ECC. And the whole offering of SAP was to have different modules in the same system. So here you see these boxes here, these are the modules. So there is a financial accounting module, there is a controlling module, there is a fixed asset management. No, you see here SD for sales and distribution, PP for production planning. These words are still around. Everybody uses these words still. And the whole specialty or the real innovation, what SAP brought, is to have one integrated system, central component, which provides all these functionalities. Before this, there were separate finance systems, separate controlling systems, separate sales systems. SAP brought all these things together, and that was really the birth of SAP. That's how they became a leader in enterprise software. Now, the next phase of evolution is what SAP called the business suite, where new systems have been created by SAP around ECC. So you see, for example, customer relationship management or supplier relationship management or product lifecycle management, all these things, because SAP realized that there needs to be a connection between companies. No, it's not enough just to mention one company, but you have to manage the whole network of companies. So there has to be a relationship with your customers, with your suppliers, and so on. Then the next phase of evolution is the birth of S/4HANA, and this is what we are covering in this course, where SAP created a new in-memory database technology called HANA, and rewrote their business suite for this new technology, this in-memory database. And this makes the system not only faster, but really a lot more capable in many ways. And as you see here on the slide, it already came in two flavors. There was what we call an on-prem version, an on-premise version. So and the cloud version. So what's the difference? On-premise version means that as a customer, you buy a software, you buy your hardware, and you install the software on the hardware, and then it's yours. You run it yourself. Cloud is, of course, more modern, where you don't really buy the software. You don't need to buy hardware. No, you get it provided as a cloud solution. So you pay a subscription to SAP, and then SAP runs the system for you. So of course, that's a lot more flexible. There are a lot of benefits there. But then there were still additional solutions, line of business solutions, which were still around this S4 core, because SAP acquired all kinds of other cloud companies. We will talk about these during the course. So actually, it became it became too complex for customers, because you had like the central S4 system, but you still had other systems. And you remember where SAP started? They started from the promise that everything is together. So actually, in the current version, we talk about again a business suite. So this term came back. No, this term was kind of the second phase of the evolution. Then SAP kind of moved away, and they started to have more systems, again, separate line of business solution. And now what we are in the phase where SAP is bringing these things back together, but now everything is in the cloud. No? This business suite, which was the second phase, was everything on-prem. So SAP now basically copies their own idea, but then to the cloud, because now, of course, cloud is the standard. So let me go deeper into this business suite, and then this is actually SAP's strategy on one slide. This piece here in the middle called Cloud ERP, this is what we are going to talk about mostly. No? So this is the ERP system which serves finance, procurement, supply chain, human capital, customer experience, no? Just to mention the main topics. Then there is a piece called here, Business Data Cloud. This is not so much the focus of this course. You can read about it. Feel free to ask questions. We can talk about it. But basically, the idea is to have a central system where all your data is there, whether it's data coming from your SAP systems or non-SAP systems, inside or outside the organization, a place where you put all your data, and then of course you can do analytics and then AI on top of that. There is this big layer here called Business Technology Platform. That's like a foundation, like a technology foundation for everything what SAP does. And by the way, everything what partners and customers do, because this BTP, Business Technology Platform, it's a foundation which everybody can use. So even customers can build on top of this platform. And by doing so, they can extend the standard SAP solutions. But I will talk about that in a moment. And around that, there is a shell around all of this, which is AI. No, I mentioned business AI, big priority of SAP, to build a co-pilot, to build agents, AI agents. I will explain that in a moment. So this is the big picture. No, this is how everything comes together. And during this course, we will go through the buy company, the different departments. We will understand how they run the different processes and how those processes can be mapped actually to this one picture, to the SAP portfolio. So let's zoom into the flavors of S/4HANA, because this is, I would like to clarify that even customers find it complicated because it's a changing topic. And I would like to introduce to the right terms so that you don't get lost, you don't get confused. So I mentioned that S/4HANA can be in the cloud or can be on-prem. Now, this is clear, no? So if you have an on-prem system, then you buy the software, you buy the hardware, you install it, you run it yourself. This is kind of the old school, and customers are moving away from that way of working. There are always exceptions. There are companies which still like this, but generally the trend is to go to the cloud. But then in the cloud, there are two flavors, I would say. There is what we call a public edition, and there is what we call a private edition. So what's the difference? The difference is that in a public edition, it's like one system provided to a number of customers. And as a customer, you use the system, you have your own tenant, and then your data is of course secured and not shared with others, but still it's one big infrastructure, and you get a piece of it. While in a private edition, you have your own dedicated system. It's only yours. Nobody else is using it. As you can imagine, in the public edition, it's really a standard system, and then SAP cannot change the system for you because thousands of customers are using it. So it's a standard process, and then of course you have some ways of personalizing it, customizing it for yourself, but fundamentally it's a standard. And the implementation, we call it fit to standard. Like as a customer, you go and set up your business to fit this SAP standard. In private edition, it's your own system. Okay, you are not installing it on premise, it's in the cloud, but it's still fully yours. So you have more flexibility as a customer. You can make it really your own. You can deviate from the standard more freely. And that's a choice. Some customers like the public one, some customers like the private one. The SAP strategy is the public one, because that's the future. The future is not that everybody has their own. The future is that there is a public edition, and then many customers use it. Simple comparison is like Gmail. Everybody uses Gmail for emailing. Now that's a public edition system. Obviously not an SAP system, it's from Google for your emails, but you can compare it to like that. Like when you want to do emailing, you can subscribe to Gmail, and Google manages everything for you. But you also cannot really ask Google to build a feature for you, because they will not do that. They have, I think, more than 1 billion users, so they will not do it for you and I. While if you have your own emailing server, then you can maybe do special things for yourself. But as you see, just like in emailing or just like in ERP, everybody is moving to the public direction. So these orange boxes show the name of the product, but to make it complicated, and this is where the customers also get confused. A few months ago, half a year ago, SAP introduced these other names. These are more sales and marketing names. But so basically the product has kind of two names, a more technical name and a more sales and marketing name. It's still the same thing, but SAP likes to make things complicated sometimes. But okay, so if you Google on the internet, if you read something, then SAP Cloud ERP is actually the same thing as S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition. Just the blue is more sales name and the orange is more the technical name. And in this course, we will focus on the public edition, so the best solution SAP has, most future-proof solution. Another thing I want to emphasize on this point is the user experience. So in this most futuristic or let's say future-proof solution, the public edition, we work with Fiori apps. So Fiori is the name of the SAP user experience, the new user experience. If you work in the private edition or on-prem, then you still have the Fiori user experience, but you also have access to the old user experience via the SAP GUI. And then you have a choice. Then customers can decide am I using the new one or the old one, or in what combination? So maybe for one process you use the new one, and for another process you use the old one. Customers have a lot of freedom to decide. But in our course, we will be on the public edition, so we will only work with the Fiori. I'm just introducing this because, yeah, in the SAP world, everybody knows it, and you need to know this when you read something because this is just important. So just to give you an impression, here on the left, I show a Fiori screen, so the new screens. And on the right, I show you the SAP GUI screen, the more older screens. When you see the new one is nicer, it's more visual, more colorful. Yeah, of course, all innovation goes in the new screens, in the Fiori screens. But we will work with Fiori. I just explained to you that you know that many customers still use old screens. Then I mentioned, if I go back here, this BTP, Business Technology Platform Underlying Foundation. So we are getting introduced to this in this learning material. And this is the information you find in the learning material. But I will also show you the latest explanation of this, because this is a very fast moving topic. I mean, here we are in the cloud. So actually there are releases basically daily. So whatever is described, next day, it's already a little bit different. But generally speaking, it's a platform where customers can develop apps. So apps which are not part of the standard. So SAP hasn't built them, but as a customer, you need it, and so you want to build it yourself. You can do integration because in a typical customer has many systems. Probably many systems from SAP, but maybe also many systems from other software vendors. And these systems have to work together, so they need to be integrated. And SAP provides the integration solution so that, for integrating the systems. Data and analytics, super important topic nowadays because, well, we generate a lot of data, talk about big data. The better you organize your data inside your company, the better you can analyze it and make better decisions from a business point of view. So, this is a very important topic. And AI, now the big topic, which is, changing the whole industry and the world, I would say. BTP has all of this and in the platform. It's like a toolbox, a toolbox with many tools, and then with these tools, you can adjust, improve, extend, integrate, and analyze. I'm introducing this new picture because this is the latest as of today. This one is a simplified view. This is the latest view on it. The topics are the same, but you see that the AI got more horizontal, and with that, SAP wants to emphasize that AI is everywhere. So it's not just a pillar, not just like a pillar of any like the other ones, but AI is everywhere from A to Z in the SAP portfolio. And I would like to tell you a little bit more about this. It's not really part of the learning material, but I believe it's interesting to hear about AI because this is where the biggest innovation is. So SAP's AI portfolio is described on this slide. This is, as I said, it's extra information. You will not be asked about it in your certification exam, but I believe it would be a shame to miss this because it's so strategic. So SAP has a co-pilot called Joule. Maybe you have seen Microsoft Copilot. Maybe I'm sure you have seen ChatGPT or Gemini, Anthropic. Now, SAP has their own, and this is different because it's integrated into the SAP solution. Okay, I will show you in a moment. Then, of course, SAP is building agents, to use artificial intelligence to where an agent can execute a certain task, analyze the situation, use the data, access the system. Of course, that's the whole point, that all what I'm describing here, it's based on the SAP system. So they have access, real-time access to the SAP system. That's different from, ChatGPT, for example. Then there are embedded capabilities where AI functionalities build directly into the software. So I will show you examples in each week. Again, it's not part of the certification, but yeah, I think you need to know. And then the AI foundation is like the technology foundation on BTP. No, all this is built on BTP, and SAP has partnership with many leading AI companies in the world. I would say basically everyone who matters. So, OpenAI, Microsoft, AWS. Now you see the list, and that means that SAP doesn't have to invent all the large language models, no? But SAP embeds these large language models into their solutions and makes them, business specific. So I would like to play this very short video just to give you an impression of Joule. So what you see here on the screen is an S/4HANA system. Okay, you will see it a lot. This is your home page. So here you get some to-dos, you have some apps you can use, and many more. You will learn about these things. And then on the upper right corner, there is this button, this diamond button, and then you click on that, and then Joule comes up. So Joule is the AI assistant of SAP. And now I will play the video just to mention. Okay, I need to first disable my laser pointer. Okay, so I'm typing into this Joule that finds sales orders for a ship to party, a given ship to party. And I get this answer from Joule, and I can click on open, and with that, I open a given sales order. And okay, what is a sales order? You will learn in a few weeks. Basically, somebody wants to buy something from you. That's a sales order. Let me continue. So you click on that, and then it brings you to the right screen. There are so many screens in the system. It helped you to get to the right screen. But then you see something on the screen which you don't understand. It's normal. Nobody knows everything. So you ask that question to Joule, like, hey, what is the delivery status? What does it mean in a sales order? And then Joule gives you the explanation there. So it's nice. You could, of course, go and Google it, but then you are not sure if you are reading the right information. I introduced the different flavors. So, if you can easily make a mistake and you read the information from another flavor, not the one which your company is using, and then you are making a mistake. Here, Joule is giving you the right information right here in the system. What this video is not showing, otherwise it would be too long, that you can also create things in the system. So maybe you create a sales order in the system in Joule. So you see, AI is here to make your life easier when you use the SAP system. And just one example of this embedded AI is that now you are working on a sales order. So you imagine a customer says that, well, sorry, but I ordered 10 pieces, but can I get 15? Then you go into the system, you update it from 10 to 15. And then you say, okay, it would be nice to give that confirmation to the customer that I updated it. So you click on just one button, and then AI will create this order summary for you. And then you can send this order summary back to the customer. So this is just a super simple example how you can use AI to create a summary, which I think you all know that AI is good at these things, but this is now built in to SAP. So just a super simple example how AI is in the system. We will cover more. And yeah, that was my my short summary of this chapter as an introduction. And then, of course, let's go to the Q&A. I'm sure you have good questions now.
Okay, I think we are done with the video.
Yes, and thank you, virtual Thomas. And as I said, then we got the two Thomas to see. Maybe I can get started with instructions. So please, so usually, ideally, put your questions into the Q&A. And as said, don't open up your microphone. We read them aloud. So then everybody heard the question and we can check who is best, most probably Thomas, if it's a content-related question, to answer on it. However, there's one, maybe, so Q&A. If there are already some things in the webinar chat, we will also scroll through. Maybe some initial have already been answered, or we can repeat it. That also then saying, wait for the new links. So all the questions that Luca said he will fix. I can take the first question on the Q&A, because there it says, after the whole training course, which certification is preferred to pursue? I could now type in a certification code, C_something, nice, then you can copy it and search for it, but I think that doesn't really help big time. Let's wait with this topic, because over the course you will jump to, and as we heard, Luca has already with the new business processes open lecture checklist. You will have it on the digital library. In this open lecture checklist, there are the deep links to all the individual chapters we want you to learn throughout the course of the business processes open lecture. And on the side of this, say, learning journey, we learned, now it's called course. So on the course we are doing here together, at the bottom, you will find the link to exactly the right fitting certification. If you remember what Luca mentioned, it will be the very same, whether it's the previous learning journey or what we now call the slightly modified course, same certification. So this can ensure you that the content is very, very slightly changed. Yeah, so, but I think it doesn't matter now to write in the certification short version or abbreviation here. Let's walk through the course. You will get along it anyways. And we see then the more we come to the end of the business processes open lecture next year's February, March, we will do some dedicated Q&As, and if need be, even an extra session just to cover all the related questions for certifications, to ensure that you all know exactly what to do if you want to use the occasion and really do the certification and, of course, pass it. Now, as I stick first in the Q&As, then we will switch to the webinar chat. Here is one that I would like to give to you then, Thomas, saying the question is, how powerful is the AI? So somebody, I think, referred to the last pieces you did in the recorded session. How powerful is the AI? Can it do things like write simple ABAP code? Thomas, you need to unmute if you want to take that one. I can ask to unmute. Does it work?
He turned off his camera, so he's doing something.
So, but it should work because he's a panelist with all the capacities and was hearable in the beginning. Okay, if not, then we wait for the time being. I think there's something additional questions. Maybe, Luca, we can look first now in the webinar or into the webinar, whether there are questions we can answer until Thomas is back with audio and video, ideally. And again, Thomas already wrote in, and we will do it. Of course, the link to the original video will be shared. The slides will be shared, so that then on the digital library of all the original slides. So if it was, I saw some of you wrote in, you had issues with the slides being a bit blurry, then they got a bit more crisp, at least for me. If not, so you get the original file so you can really read through it. And I hope for the majority, at least throughout, when you were a bit patient, then the slides got clearer and clearer, really to be readable. Unlike the other, that the very first one, I think, was really blurry, pixelated, you wrote.
Yeah, I think there is a question that I can answer. Someone asked, do we need to watch the videos and make the exercises that are shared with us before the lecture or after? And you should always do the learning content before the lecture, and then you can see if you have questions. And then Tamas is very, or rather briefly, explaining everything to you. And if you still have some questions, then you can ask about that. But if you wouldn't have done the exercises before, then I think it would be kind of hard to understand what Tamas is telling you, and you wouldn't know if you had some questions. So always do the chapter that is before the session, and then you can join the session.
Perfect. And there's another question on the ERP consultant, which certification should I do? Again, please be patient, join with us, walk with us through the business processes open lecture, do the course with us. I said for previously called the learning journey, do the course with us, because when you go step by step through the course, exactly in the matter that Luca explained, so what to do beforehand, collect the questions, then be prepared for the lecture. In this course, at the very bottom, you already find then the link to the corresponding certification, also ensuring that this certification, because this is what we from SAP side always pretty much ensure, that the certification 100% fits to the corresponding course. So everything that you will be asked in the certification exam is for sure, 100% for sure covered in the corresponding course. Yeah. And having said that, oh, I saw some hands-on. Do we need to subscribe before we can do the hands-on? I think that's also a great question. I think, Luca, you may answer or refer to the great guide that you have prepared for this.
Yeah, so actually you do have to subscribe, and you do have to need an universal ID before. So this is why we uploaded the guide on how to create one and how to prove your eligibility, I think.
Eligibility.
Yeah, um, for being a student. And then you need to subscribe, but as you're a student, you don't need to pay for that. So you just subscribe and get all the materials for free. So yes, but it's free.
Right.
And Thomas is back, I saw.
Perfect. And we may have mentioned that that's also why we have the video, that you are in a busy and noisy environment. So maybe we use the time to find, don't know, on the roof of the train or somewhere, or in the locomotive where it's a bit more silent, so you can join us via the audio, right? But now you're muted. No, you're unmuted.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
There is one question I read out for you loudly from the Q&A that is said, referring maybe to the examples you've shown on the AI. How powerful is the AI? Can it do things like write simple ABAP code?
Yes, so that's possible, especially if you use the word simple. I mean, very, very complex. It's not there yet. No, it's very much evolving, but simple for sure. And the question about customization, that not yet. No.
Okay. Oh, I need to look who else is unmuted, or whether they are. That's in your background, right? And there is maybe related. We look first in those AI things. As you said, it's not necessary to know for the passing the certification, but it's great that it raises a big interest, because this is really the hot topic at the moment. So here it says another question. Joule, so SAP, is the LLM, so large language model, trained on company-specific data in the ERP? Question mark. I guess it evolves over time as data changes. Also, is it available on both cloud and private editions?
So SAP did the training. No, it's not training on your data. It's already pre-trained. And it is also available in private.
Perfect. And maybe Luca and I can take the next one. It said, I've missed it, don't seem to have received the access details for the Learning Hub. Could you please confirm whether they've been sent, or advise where I can get the access? I think, Luca, that's the perfect question for you, right?
Yeah, so you need to create an account on the Learning Hub. That's just like you create an account on Instagram or any other platform. But I've made a guide on how to do it, like exactly what you need to click and where to get where you want to get. And this is not sent out yet, but I will just after the session, I will send it to you. Or maybe if you give me 1 second. I will just do it right now, so then everyone can look at it. Just a second. Just
Coming in.
find the digital library and find the guide.
Perfect. There we go. Link is in. And there's another question in the Q&A I will read aloud. How is Joule integrated into the ERP? Obviously, it should have customers database to access the orders, but is it integrated also in the UI? Does it know what the customer is looking on the screen?
It is integrated, but it doesn't really look at your screen. No, it helps you to get to the right screen, but it's not looking at your screen.
Good. So there's one question now, maybe going a bit away from the AI question, I think rather also into other SAP portfolio items. Let's see whether we can cover that. It is said, generically, as a civil engineering project manager, how can I use SAP in construction planning?
So we will get to that during this course. No? We will talk about the whole production process and how SAP can help you with that. So in a few weeks we get that.
Perfect. So as always, be patient. We will cover it. We will touch that. Always a good sign. So let's see. Oh, that is, I don't have to read that because that's already Luca's answer into the chat. Let's see. Thank you. So the link, please use it. Account. I think everything that is now about the account on Learning Hub Student Edition, Universal ID, I think that is all answered with what Luca just shared, also on the BPO checklist. Okay. I think then let's go and I leave the webinar chat. I think I will only look into those things now being added after 1853. Oh, 1853 local Greek time. So maybe depending where you are, maybe I have a different time zone. So another time, don't worry. That is already covered, integrated. So I think the Q&As are covered. The webinar chat, I think, is mainly covered with the links and the answers that Luca put in. As said, again, repeat. So important. Stay tuned. If you have made a download of the old version of the Business Processes Open Lecture Checklist, print it and put it onto your wall, but don't use it any longer. Use the new one. So on purpose, Luca also put in, you saw on the slide, a bit different color code. So you immediately see old one, new one. Please only use the new one. Good news, only slight changes. It prepares for exactly the same certification, and that's already the proof that the covered content is more or less the same, but it's fresher, it's newer, and it addresses, as Thomas enlightened us, also more the business suite. So that's also from the terminology, again, back to the roots that we, from SAP side now, more talk about. Okay, then, as there are no more questions coming in, and I took you unpurposely last time 5 minutes overtime, you will get now 4 minutes back. Hope that's okay, unless there's another urgent question coming in. If not, we see you all, please, and maybe even more new registrants next week, same time, 5 o'clock Central European time zone. Stay tuned. Learn upfront, as Luca instructed, what has to be done by then. As said, always only a small chunk, so it should not overburden you. Stay healthy and safe until then. Looking forward to see you all again. And Thomas, have a great rest of your journey and good return to the Netherlands. And thanks, everybody. See you soon and bye-bye.
Recording
Bye-bye.
stopped.